Hey everybody, Retrofied here, and today I wanted to talk about how so many Switch 1 games are incredibly better on the Switch 2. So if you guys are liking your Switch 2 or are excited to get one, make sure you guys leave a comment below telling me what made you get your Switch 2 or what games you're going back and playing. And make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any more of these videos, because right now it's all Switch 2. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So a lot of people look at the Switch 2 as just a better Switch, and while in some aspects it is just a better Switch, it is a new system. But going back to it being a better Switch, yeah, it is. It is a better Switch because you can play all your old Switch games on it. And this brings me to just one of my favorite parts about the Switch 2 that I've been experiencing with my Switch 2 is going back and playing some of these older original Switch games, because right now the only new game we really have is Mario Kart World. I've been enjoying that game so much. I've been playing some Cyberpunk too, but Mario Kart World's our new game, and I think right now, until we get some crazy more new games, one of my favorite things is going back to some old games. I've tested a bunch of my original Switch 1 games on the Switch 2 and they run so much better. And I just really wanted to go over some of these games and some of the things that it just does better, and why you should go back to your old backlog or your old library of Switch 1 games and go play them, because the Switch 2 is just such an incredible system. So I want to start out with my favorite Zelda game ever made, Skyward Sword. I actually want to make a video talking about why it's my favorite Zelda game, but stay tuned for that. But Skyward Sword on the Switch 2 is incredible. The load times are out of this world. The graphics look incredible on the TV. It is so much better in every way that way, but when you play this on the TV, it is the perfect way to play Skyward Sword. And what I mean by this is that Skyward Sword originally came out on the Wii, and you use the motion controls with the Wii controller to move your sword around. And with the Switch 1, you would do that, but the Switch controller is really small. But having the Switch 2 Joy-Cons be a perfect size, like a perfect middle ground between Wii controller and Joy-Con, is incredible. Playing this game with the Switch 2 Joy-Con is crazy, and I really want to go back and replay this game just because of that. It's genuinely so much fun to swing around the sword with the Switch 2 Joy-Con, just because of the fact that it is so much larger than the original Switch. So bouncing off of that, another crazy game that I just love on my Switch 2 is Tears of the Kingdom. So Tears of the Kingdom got a new Zelda Switch 2 edition, which adds a couple of new things. You can share builds and share items, and it actually has a bunch of new lore. And the reason I'm saying Tears of the Kingdom, not Breath of the Wild, is because Breath of the Wild was optimized for the Switch 1 perfectly. It came out when the Switch 1 came out, so it was really pushing the hardware. But when Tears of the Kingdom came out, Switch has already been out for a while, and it pushed the hardware too much. So a lot of people gave Tears of the Kingdom some flack for that, just because of the fact that it was not running the greatest. But on the Switch 2, it runs beautifully. And not only does it run amazingly, but it is just so smooth. Everything is so crisp. It is just a beautiful game. And Breath of the Wild also gets this upgrade too, and it just makes Breath of the Wild look so much better. It really makes me want to go back and replay this game. And another game that wasn't very good looking at launch is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, I'm not super huge into Pokemon, but I love getting my hands on these games from time to time. And Scarlet and Violet is that game that I got my hands on recently, and I just didn't like it very much. It was a good game, good gameplay, but it just looked and ran not the greatest. And I even mentioned that in one of my older videos, is that Scarlet and Violet did not run great at all. But on the Switch 2, it is so perfect. I went back, was looking at some of my old Pokemon, just seeing how the game looked, and just, it runs beautifully. It looks beautiful. It doesn't look kind of like mush like it used to. It just looks like a good game. And I'm so excited to see what Gen 10 has waiting for us, because Pokemon Presents is coming up soon, and I can't wait to see what they're gonna announce. And speaking of announcing, we just got a brand new Splatoon game announced, and And we're getting a big update for Splatoon 3. So Splatoon 3 is a game that I definitely want to go back to on the Switch 2 because I already did and it looks great. Like I said, all these games are running so much better and just they look so much better too. So Splatoon 3 is one game that I definitely want to go back to. They're adding a bunch of new weapons, a bunch of new outfits and stuff. So seeing this on the Switch 2 is going to be incredible. And another game that really has benefited from the load times is Animal Crossing New Horizons. I love Animal Crossing New Horizons. I got it right when it came out. I've had probably 4 or 5 different islands that I've gone through over time. My current island, I've gone back and played so much recently to just relax and it just looks so good, especially in handheld mode. The screen is huge and it just looks amazing. And one game that I've actually started playing for the first time on the Switch 2, and this is crazy, Majora's Mask. I've gone back and played some of these N64 games. I definitely played some 3D All-Stars recently on my Switch 2, but I went back and played some Majora's Mask because I have never beaten this game before, and playing it on the Switch 2 for some reason was just amazing. It was really good. I played some of it on the Switch 1, and just for some reason, playing it on the Switch 2 was just better. And so lastly, one game that I think did get better with the Switch 2 is Mario 3D World. With Mario 3D World, the free Switch 2 upgrade, it actually added Game Share, and a bunch of other games got Game Share too, but this game added Game Share, and it just looks so good. This is a Wii U game that's getting put on a system that's 2 generations above that. So the load times are incredible, the frame rate is crazy, and there's Game Share, so you can actually play this game with your friends on their Switch 1 on 2 separate Switches. And I think it's a great game to actually test Game Share out because Game Share is going to be a huge thing in the future. So it's a good way to actually test this out before a lot of games actually put it in there. So yeah, wrapping up, those are some of the best games that I've gone back to personally and that I think you guys should go back to also. There are so many games and this system is just incredible. The Switch 1 had such a huge library and I'm so happy that so many of the games are backwards compatible because there are just so many more new memories to be made with these older games. So comment down below what games you guys have gone back to recently because I'd really love to see what you guys are playing. Make sure you like and subscribe because it helps out the channel a ton, and I will see you guys in the next one.